Hi friends, last class we have discussed the Python classes we started one by one. As we'll go to brief discussion video. The first one is basic context we discussed in the first class. Introduction to the Python, installation of Python, executing the Python scripts on the notepad we done. And after the latest second class we done the description of the Python shell and interactive mode or interpreter mode. After that we are entered to that same like interpreter mode, interactive mode, Python shell we are creating the IDLE shell. After that we have some drawbacks in the IDLE. To overcome this IDLE we are to go for a batch mode. The batch mode discussion also done. How we need to create a batch mode with the IDLE. Today discussion is done. So today we has to continue the class 3, the continuation of the batch mode, how to do that program the batch mode, what are types of data types we has to see. So those are very first class to this. You has to see the previous classes. We have a channel YouTube. So then you go to the YouTube. The previous first class second I was updated. Type in the KSP Academy 2010. Center first one will cover our icon. After you can go to the playlist. Inside the playlist I kept block Python for beginners. So in this we have a classes we can watch and we can enjoy. Okay. So I hope the regular students, those are watching continuously, following one sequentially. I hope the installation is done previous classes. Today we have to see the types of data. So in this the data types basics. Basically, I'll go here one by one. We have the list of data type directly listed to post dictionary. We can go directly to the Python. But before going to that, what are the kind of those data types? So from where it is started origin. So those we need to go. So basically the data types which are classified into any category, any languages, two types, static data types and dynamic data types, two types basically. So what is the static data types? So in static data types, supported languages are C, C++, Java, .NET. So static data types supported with these kind of languages, C, C++, Java, .NET. So and the static data types which are supported languages or program developers should be defined data type to the variable mandatory. It means to say we have a variable a is equal to 10. With this we need to we need to write mandatory integer data type. So we need to write before the variable. It's mandatory. That's what he mentioned. The developers or programmers should be defined data types or variables are mandatory. Mandatory you need to mention in the case of a static data type. This is an int type. Then once again it is a string. Now I write in a Praveen. Praveen is a string data type. We need to write before s. We need to mention the string. So it means to say conclusion is static data types. The developers or programmers they has to mention, they has to define before the variables. So a is a variable before int you need to write. Then only it is static data type. Do not mention the int or string before the data type. It is not coming into the static data type. So this is one of the drawback. If you want a static data, we need to write it as. And the second type, second point in the static data type is static data types are supported languages. One variable can store only one variety of data. So each variable store only one variety of data. If you wanted to write another data in the same variable, it is invalid. That is what here mentioned. The float f with a variable we mentioned 3.65. It's valid. If you write again the same code, if you use once again the float, writes another variety of data, it is invalid. Array concepts you write. So if you write same data type into the same variable, that is not possible in this static data type. We have two drawbacks. Here we need to write the data type before the variable. It's mandatory. And if you want to write the same variable, if you want to use other variable, other values, it is not possible. This is the two drawbacks of the static data types. To overcome these static data types, we have to go for a dynamic data types. So dynamic data types supported languages are Python, PHP, JavaScript. These three languages we are using the dynamic data types basically. So dynamic data types means the dynamic data types, like, or you can say Python data types. For our convenient, we are using our Python. So Python data types supported languages or developers should not mention, should not define the data type explicitly. So we need not supposed to write like a int or a string before the variable. We can write directly the value to the variable, automatically it will take. Why? Because the Python contains the default data types, it will take automatical value into the variables. So that are the shows. So if you one more point here, it is we don't want to define the data type before the variable. And the second point is, if you define the values to the variable, based on that the value of the value representation of class and object will be created automatically. It means the type of data type which should be to the particular value, it will take automatically. An address of variable take, if you want to find out address of the variable, we can find id function. If you want to find the type of the variable, we can use a type function. So once again, if you see this variable, this you can understand. And the Python program, the Python data type supported programming language, one variable can store a different variety of data. So previously I told you static data type, the variable will, we can hold one value 20. If you wanted to again same variable store another value 50, it is invalid in the case of a static data types. For dynamic, we can define more values also. Same variable, you can choose another values also. Understood? The static data types, we need to mention the what is the kind of data type which you are defining, int or string we need to define in the static. But to come to this dynamic, no need to require to mention the what kind of data type to here, and we can use same variable for multiple variety of data also we can use. This is the dynamic data types. So in the dynamic data type, I told you Python we can use dynamic because we have developing a Python code as of now. I hope it's clear. So here nothing to mention. If you define in the case of Python, if you write a is equal 20, so 20 value is integer or a string or it is a tuple, sorry, it is a boolean or some other value float. So we don't know. If you wanted to find out which data type to this and what is the address of this data type, if you wanted to find the Python, we has two functions we have. One is type function. This type function we can use it to find out the data type class, and the id function we can use it to find out the address of that we can use. So another slide I was very clearly mentioned type function and type parenthesis. So this is a function we can use to find out type of data we are using. So here I mentioned very clearly type function or type is used to tell about the what kind of class is created based on that the data type which was given by the programmer or developer. So what kind of data type we are using for the value we can clearly see. Then id function, id function or id we can use it to find out address of the particular class object. If you want to find out address of the particular object in the memory location, we can use id function which is created internally by the Python interpreter. Okay, I hope the types of data types we clear. Static data types, dynamic data types. Static we used to you mention the before variable data type, and same variable if you want to use it could not supposed to use. Dynamic, we are without mention the data type it will valid, and you can use same variable for a different variety of data, it is acceptable. This is the dynamic data types. Okay, so it's a type function, id function. So if you wanted to go for hands-on experience how to find these data types, static dynamic data types, how to find type function and id function. So if you wanted to go for hands-on experience, I'll go to that desktop mode, I'll see. So desktop I have how to write the program. Ideally double click, you can open IDL shell, interpreter mode or interactive mode. So don't write program here, I told you very clearly. Want to write a program, file, it means we need to enter into the batch mode. This is the interactive mode or interpreter mode. If you want to enter the batch mode, file, click on new file. In this we need to write your program. I'm writing my own program. A is equal to, I'm writing Praveen. I'm mentioning string type. So print A. I'm printing a value Next, I wanted to find out what kind of data type here. I told you already print, and what kind, how to find out. We have a variable type function. Type A means if you give like this, we have to use this for the purpose of writing here with hash to find type of data type of a variable A. Variable A holding what kind of data type is holding. To find out this function we can use type A. Next we wanted to find out address of the variable. So address of the variable, what we can use, print what I told you, id function, id of A. Id of A means to find out the address of the variable. What is the purpose? Is hash I'm writing, the red color should not be execute. For our understanding I'm writing to find out address of variable, of the variable A, address of the variable A. So after writing program the batch mode, just to file, click on file, then save your file, save as. Want to save in the desktop, you can save it desktop. Desktop no file, I'm writing KSP. This is which type of data type is static. We are writing static underscore dynamic underscore type of data underscore ID. Just I'm writing for a D more convenient. I saved this program. If you wanted to run this program, you know already in the patch mode we have option called run. Click on run or F5. Automatically run will get execute, will get an answer. So now see this. Print A. Praveen is printed. What type of data is Praveen? String type. So he got a class is string class. So ID of function means IDA means you're finding the address of the function 23139490582224. This is the address of this Praveen string data type address. Praveen, which kind of address? Which kind of data type? So I just now we have got an answer, right? Also you added string type. If we got address, memory locations. Address is unique every time. It will change. Keep on one the number of times you execute, it will change. Address will be unique to what can say, a variable to variable. Address will be defined different memory locations. It's very clear. So this is static and dynamic. How we need to find data type value, data type and address of variable. This is clear. Next will continuation. ID function I showed, type function I showed. Just how to find address. Next, we are in the channel static and dynamic over. And dynamic data types, which are classified into some other types of data types, which you can see. So dynamic data types, I wrote the Python because we are using the Python in code. That's what I was written, Python data types. So Python dynamic data types I mentioned. So Python dynamic data types are dynamic data types which are classified into two types: fundamental data types and collection data types. What I mentioned, fundamental data types and collection data types. So fundamental data types. The fundamental data types which are represented as class object can store a single rate at a time. So in the fundamental data types, each variable can store only single value. It can store a single rate at a time or single value at a time. If you define a more than one value to any fundamental data type or any variable, it automatically comes back to collection data type. Second type is to go, it leads to second type. So fundamental data types we can give a single variable, single value. If more than one value given to that single variable, that it comes under second type, collection data types. That's why collection data types to define more than one value to the any fundamental type, it can lead to automatically collection data types. That collection data types will come to the class is created tuples class. Whatever you write the one more than one variable to a single one value to the single variable, it will leads to tuples class, automatically went to tuple class. Example, you see fundamental representation class object float int string bool complex, these are all possible. So C++ Java, we has to mention int a is equal to 10, int b is equal to 10, 20, it's invalid because this is static case. We are mentioning more than one value mentioned, and the same different variables, if you mention more than two values, it's invalid. Need to go for array concepts. So now we are writing in Python. There was no type declaration here. Directly write a is equal to 10, it's valid. It comes under fundamental data type. So I told you, right, fundamental, each variable can hold a single value. Second type, the same variable we can use in the Python, no issues, without any data type. If you're holding more than one variable, it leads to valid, it is valid. It leads to second type, it's a collection data type. So collection data type is going to lead to collection data type. The data type name is called a tuples, the class of tuples. So what is a tuple? We'll discuss in the further classes for more information. This is a tuple class, is a type of collection data type. Is it clear? Oops, once here, if you want, I'll go. Fundamental data types which will hold only single value, single variable, single value. More than one value give, it leads to a collection data types. We have collection data types we have list tuples, dictionary sets we have, that will discuss next class. So if you wanted to go for hands-on experience, how where we can see fundamental data types and where we can see the collection data types, how collection data types leads to the tuple object is really going to happen in tuples created or not. Fundamental data types, it will leads to same what is the types of array which will what a type of holding it will list, but tuples class more than will give tuple class is created, is it not? We can see in the our class. So we has to go for ideally shell. So I'm closing all. I'll open very fresh. And I forgot, actually we have, I was already saved some example. Batch mode file I kept here. Collection fundamental. It's already I was saved. This I'm opening with ideally. Or else if you open wanted to clear, once I'll open and I'll edit with. I'll keep it aside. So general process, what we has to go is, what is the process? Click on ideally. So this is the shell, interrupt shell will open. After interrupt shell, what you have to do? Click on file, and then the batch mode, new file will open. In this you need to write a program. So for the time consumption to not save a valuable time, I'm copying the program. So copying my frame, I'm copying to your just control V. So I copied the program. A is equal to Praveen, single variable, it leads to fundamental data type. A is equal to 50, it leads to fundamental data type. Next, A is equal to 14.45.52, single variable, fundamental. Okay, so this is a string type. We need, when you're reading the type, we need to get string type. When your 50 is integer, we need to get integer, we need to get float, we need to get float. This is complex, we need to get complex. This is true is a boolean, so we need to get boolean. Are you getting or not? So after writing a program in the batch mode, we need to, first thing is we need to save as. Click on save as. I am saving this program in the desktop. So KSP fundamental data, fundamental FD1 highlight, fundamental data type for your easy convenience. FD1 now write a program. Just save it. Now you can run it. Wow, great. We got an answer now. First one is, sorry, keep it aside. Yeah. So first one is Praveen. Is a Praveen, I got 28. What is the type of data type? String data type I got. Address I got. For the Praveen is a string, I got address 16600, something else I got. Second case, 50 is a printer. What type of is integer, the address I got, very clear. Next, third case, fundamental, these are all. the single value. What I got, float I got. Are you getting or not? I'm showing, writing fundamental data types. Next, 3.58, it's a complex number we got. Next, true is a boolean function. Class is a boolean class. That address is unique. Person variable to variable, it will change. Keep on. Hope it's very clear. So this is the way we can see the fundamental data types. I hope you understand fundamental data type. Single variable, single type of data it will host. More than if you write another value here, Praveen, by making another value, some 100, some 50. If you write like this, it leads to what can I say? Write like this, more than another case. String I write. This is an integer. Here I write float 50.45. Okay. This is a integer. Here we can give one complex number 4 plus 5 j. This leads to what? Collection data types. This will leads to more than this is 3 I wrote, here 2 I wrote, here I write 4. Let's see, 40.4 right, 30.2 I write 3, and 45.752 I'll write. Want one more number we introduce, we can write another true, you write boolean type. So more than one means I write 4, here 2 I write 3. So all which lead, now this will be comes under collection data types, more than one value. So what is the type will come when you execute? Combination will be there, right? Different types of we have. It's a tuples class. It won't get answer like a float and float and boolean. It will not get. If you more than one, you can say the type will also tuples class will create 3.5 j. If a complex number, one more will give 4 plus 6j plus 6j. And if you want to another string, like KSP string I created. Want to create one more string. Sorry. Write one more. Right. 4 I mentioned. Tuples here, sorry. Boolean function, we can write one more. Integer I'll write. 32 I'll write integer. One float value 43.57. And if you want to write another way, float we mention. This is okay. Boolean I mentioned. 2 plus 5 j I mentioned. So different. If you write combinational to the single variable, it leads to the collection data types. So this what next you can do, control, become save as. I'm writing saving another KSP. We write fundamental, right? This leads to I write another way, collection at CD I write CD space second I write 2 collection data type. I'm saving in the desktop KSP collection data types. Save it. What you need to do, you need to execute. So execute what you're going to get before running. You need to understand collection data types. More than one value given to, it leads to collection data types. Tuple class is created. If we go single value, like single value if we give, it will give integer, like more than one value will give to tuple class is created. No individual will not become. So where is our program here? Okay, next run it. Fine. Some syntax error you find out. T. So here you missed out. Comma you forgot. Once you save it, and any errors will come, it will shows. Oh, great. Now it's executed. From here you see, want once again you run it as clearance will come. Yes. Here now see first one. Praveen 100 3.5 is the values we got 28. Type which class, tuple class is created. Address of this is address. Understood? Good. Now second class you go. Here 50 plus 4.54 5j complex number we given. Integer complex both is given to the single way. It leads to collection. It will not supposed to give integer and complex. It will give to tuple class. Next one for this. Next one for this. Next another one we got. So like this we need to get the different values to the individual. This one. So here, this is the address. This is a type of class. This is what is your given variable. So this is the way we can do. So if you wanted to understand more than you need to practice a number of programs, then you get confident on you. Same, take open IDLE shell, enter into the batch mode, or write your own program, different values you give more than one, I can give 50, 20. So it will go to what a tuple class should be created. Any syntax error will come, you need to identify which syntax error, where it is, identify and re-edit it so you can run it as. So my advantage is how many number of times you practice the programs, writing your own, entering different values, you get a hands-on experience other than watching videos. When you are watching the video or watching or parallel, you can open your laptop personally, work on that, then you understand where the problem will be there, how they're executing. Clear? So this is done. So hands-on session, just you are already experienced fundamental previously. Now collection of types also I shown. Looks clear. Any doubt? Please comment on the comment section in the YouTube video. You can understand where it is there. I'll correct it and get back to the next classes. Next class we'll discuss the types of collection of data types. So starting we see, I told you right, very starting I promised you we'll go for very starting, static and dynamic. So dynamic we have types, fundamental collection. In collection we have types. Next class list tuples. Next, I hope you are very interested in this topic. Okay, we will discuss in the next class. Meanwhile, to wait and practice and come back. And one more request: those who are still not yet install the software, Python, please install. So how we need to install? If you want to understand, see my first video in the YouTube. In the clear lab was shown where we need to download, how you install. The process I was explaining. You can install, then only you can understand the process. Hands-on experience will get it out. Thanks for watching. And keep continuing in the next classes. Bye.